guys, so today is going to be a different video from me. I have been taking the time that I take for myself each day. I would love to say it's every day, but it's definitely not. And I have been coming up to my son's bedroom and I have been painting a mural on the walls. This room was just plain pure white before. I wanted something that felt really fun and whimsical and colorful, but a little more muted. We live in the middle of the woods in the Pacific Northwest, and I wanted the room to reflect that same vibe. There's a beautiful view out of the windows here, and I really just wanted to have something that kind of brings that inside. So I have decided to paint a mural in his room. And today what I'm going to do is paint and chat with you guys. Different sections of the room that I've already finished and areas that I've just kind of started. As you can see behind me here, that is a tree, but it is not even kind of done. It's just the base brown color so that I could see the shape of the tree. I am mapping out what I'm going to paint on the walls first in pencil, and then I am going over them with acrylic paint. So I am painting in acrylic. Really, really fun. It's very therapeutic for me. What I tend to do is just listen to The Office while I am painting. I don't actually put music on it. I just watch The Office. That's my favorite TV show, and it's like my comfort show. So it's something that, like, if I'm feeling anxious or if I'm feeling kind of upset or if I'm having a good day, whatever it is, it's always on in the background. But I thought today I would sit down and just chat with you guys while I paint this mushroom and snail. This is actually what I'm gonna paint. I just found an image off of Google. This is some blue tape, but I found an image off of Google and I just typed in like snail and mushrooms, and this is what came up. And I'm just gonna kind of paint something like this on the wall. So that's what I'm gonna do today. Is a chanterelle mushroom, an amanita mushroom, and then some little greenery and a snail, which I think is super cute. That's the whole vibe of the room. Very tree, moon, lightning bugs. There's gonna be like a big glowy moon and some like fluffy clouds up on the top. I've got a hedgehog and some mushrooms that I've already done. There's gonna be a big stump over here with some oyster mushrooms coming up the side, birds, an owl, skunk, rabbits, squirrels, chipmunks, a lot of little ground creatures, a lot of really cute little like woodland creatures in here. I just want it to be really whimsical and fun and interactive. And I'm actually also gonna be making him a rug. My husband bought me a rug making kit for my birthday, and I'm very excited that I'm gonna make him a rug that looks like a big, like mossy, misshapen, cool patch. So I'm really excited for that. I've never made a rug before, but I've got all the supplies and I'm ready to go. So today though, I'm gonna just bring you with me and show you guys how I paint this little thing. This is not a tutorial. It's just vibes. I will not be filming the entire painting process for the whole room for YouTube because I really want to enjoy the process as well, and I don't get to like just have my music or my show on loud. I have to like paint in silence. So I've already done this hedgehog that you guys see here, and I just think he's the most darling thing ever. Again, I just found like a reference image on Google and did like my own, you know, kind of interpretation of it. And then I've got these cutie little mushrooms over here that are underneath the moon, and I'm trying to like match up the shades and highlights so that it like looks like the correct reflection of light is coming down. I'm not a professional painter at all. I'm just self-taught. Really, honestly, I was in some art classes in high school and I'm not that good, but I do love doing it, and it is very, very fun for me to do, and it's super relaxing. So let's just hang out and paint. Before we get into the painting, I've been working with HelloFresh now this is the 4th year. So thank you so much to HelloFresh for sponsoring the beginning portion of this video. If you don't know who they are, which I assume you do, but if you don't, they are a meal delivery service. They deliver meals directly to your door each week. They come in an insulated box, and in that box are the meals that you have pre-chosen. And this week's meal that we had was like a zucchini and tomato flatbread, and it had this like lemony ricotta cheese on it with like a drizzle of honey. It was absolutely delicious. Their flatbreads from HelloFresh are super, super good. If you ever get the chance to get them, I would highly recommend them. I've gotten them multiple times, and anytime I see them, I do, because they're so yummy. They're so simple, they're quick and easy to make, and they always have such good pairings. Things that I wouldn't have thought to put together, like a lemony ricotta with honey. Like I wouldn't normally think to drizzle something like that over a flatbread, yet it amps it up so much. So you can maintain your goals and take over all of your food choices with HelloFresh. They offer so many recipes to choose from each week to help you break out of your recipe rut, which I know that we get into really heavily. We kind of make the same things over and over, and this just expands your food palette so much. They offer a huge variety of quick and easy recipes, including 20-minute meals. They have easy cleanup and low prep options, which is awesome if you're trying to time save. The packaging that HelloFresh uses to ship your food in is already recycled content. We love HelloFresh so much. It's such a nice thing to have, like opening up your fridge and knowing you don't have to think about what's gonna be for dinner tonight. You just follow the recipe card and you have dinner, and it's so good. Every meal is so balanced and delicious, and a lot of times there are flavors or flavor combos that I just wouldn't have thought to put together, but that become a part of your daily routine. I feel like I'm always left just going like this. This means yes. It is so, so good. Get this if you can. Oh, it's so good. The honey. And cut. Cut. And cut. 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 If you guys are interested in checking out HelloFresh, go to HelloFresh.com and use my code RawBeauty16 for up to 16 free meals plus 3 surprise gifts. And I thank you so much to HelloFresh for sponsoring the beginning portion of this video. And now we are going to paint some cutie things and just chat. And there might be some like little time-lapse clips so that you guys can get like the more satisfying coming together of the painting. But yeah, I'm very excited to be doing this and actually having it come together, because this is a plan that I've had forever. Like, I've wanted to do this for his bedroom since before he was born, but I couldn't find the time because, you know, life with a new baby. But he's a little toddler now and he can spend a lot of the evening with daddy and reading books and watching Pooh. It is his favorite show in the whole world. It's the only show he watches. He loves Pooh Bear so much. He asks for Apu, Apu. He hears the word Tigger and he goes, today I taught him how to say honey, and he's walking around the house all day today, honey, honey, honey. It's so cute. He loves Winnie the Pooh. I got a Winnie the Pooh book from Amazon and he friggin' loves it. It's so cute. I'll try to link it down in the description because it is very cute. The way it's written is so written in the verbiage of Pooh Bear. Anyway, God, look who I've become. I'm sitting on YouTube right now in a child's room talking about painting snails on a wall whilst talking about Winnie the Pooh. Could this be further from Kristi circa 2017? All right, I'm gonna get this all set up and we're gonna get to painting. Okay, so this is the setup. It's not fantastic, but you know, here we are. So I have my reference image here taped up to the wall so that I can just reference it as I go. Do my best to sort of lay down base colors that sort of match. So hopefully this works out. I have my paint palette here. So I'm starting off with the shade Deco Art Rookwood Red, and then I'm gonna mix a little bit of Toasted Terracotta in from Folk Art. And again, like I said, I am not a professional painter. I am just somebody who enjoys painting and I think it's fun. And then I'm also gonna toss some of this shade. I think this will be good for the chanterelle mushroom, which is this guy here. This is Yellow Ochre by Folk Art. Maybe a little of this as well, Raw Sienna. These were, I think I got these from Hobby Lobby. They were like $1 or something a piece. They're pretty inexpensive. So I sort of just get a few of my colors down and then I just grab a little brush and start putting down the base layer. I always like to have a cup of water and a towel with me because I like to like rub my brushes off on the towel. Yeah, so I think I mentioned this in a previous video, but I talk about how I like to do this with watching The Office. I get a lot of enjoyment out of just like completely spacing out and watching a show while I'm working. I've talked about this in the past, but you so rarely as a parent get into a flow state that when you finally get the chance, it feels so good. Like a flow state for me would be going, I'm not thinking about anything. I'm just enjoying painting. And I've mentioned how hard it is to do that when you have to stop like every few minutes to take care of somebody else or, you know, be the one that's like figuring everything out and like, oh, I gotta go cook a meal real quick. It's really hard to get back into it. So I try when I come up here to take time to do these things, but man, it's hard to like come up here and actually have a decent length of time that I can sit here and work on this. I've been working on this bedroom for probably like 4 months now and I've only gotten 1, 2. This is the 3rd piece and I've got like, I don't know, 10 more. So it's definitely taking longer than I wish it would. You know what? It's very therapeutic for me and it's just kind of fun to create. The last painting class I actually took was in, I don't know, high school. High school. I was in like advanced art in high school. I was never like that great or anything like that, but I did all of those classes and really enjoyed art. And I used to paint like pictures for people for like commission, but I wouldn't charge anybody anything. And I would do like artistic projects all the time. And it would be like the thing that I would do to like, if I had like somebody's birthday coming up, I would like paint them a portrait like I did for my dad. My dad's, I think it was his birthday or something like that. And I painted him a portrait of his dog. I talked about Lloyd actually in the video recently when I was talking about Maddie. I painted him a portrait of Lloyd Christmas. And I just used to get a lot of enjoyment out of giving people like custom gifts like that. And then, I don't know, time went on and my medium turned to makeup instead of acrylic. And now we're going back, folks. That's what happens, you know? Okay, let's speed this along. I find for myself that laying down all the base layers first, like getting all of the colors, like rough idea of placement, where it's gonna go first, I can work so much better than doing like one thing at a time. Everybody has like a different process in how they paint. But I just find like this is the easiest for me when I can see where everything is gonna go and then build from there versus like finishing the mushroom, moving on to the next mushroom. Like I need to have it all done first. This base layer doesn't matter as much. It's just really to get the feel for it. Sweating my balls off, sweating my balls off. I asked some questions on Instagram stories and I love doing Q&As over there, and man, I just feel like I get to know you guys so much better when I do that. Like I just have such a different relationship with you guys when you're DMing me and talking to me about things, and when I talk about a lot different stuff over there than I do here, just because the nature of, you know, Q&As over on Instagram. You can answer so many more questions, and I don't know, things just feel different over there. And oh man, it was so fun to do. I just absolutely love doing that. Getting to interact with you guys has been really, really fun. So if you don't follow over on Instagram, you might want to, because I do a lot more talking over there than I do here. So this is a color called Hazy Moon from Folk Art. And then I'm gonna do a little bit of white as well. This one's called Vintage White. It's not a pure white. It's kind of a soft off-white. Man, I have a full-blown toddler on my hands now. I'll tell you what, I knew that it was gonna be a lot, but holy shit, it is, oh wow. Tantrums are something else, man. I bought the course, Big Little Feelings. I bought their like toddler tantrums, taming the toddler tantrums course or something like that. I can't remember. It's called Reclaiming the Toddler Stage. I can't remember, but it's basically like teaching you how to respond. It's not changing your child's behavior at all. It's not what you're doing. It's teaching you how to respond to limit like tantrums and stuff. And fucking A, man, it's so much easier said than done. When you're in it, you're like trying to do that gentle parenting. It's just so easy in theory, and then in practice, it's like you're trying to reach the unreachable. Like he can't understand me in those moments. Like he's truly unreachable. Tantrums are very interesting because they are, in my eyes, you know, like everything is literally fine. And like, no, you cannot eat rocks. You can't eat cats, Kevin. Yeah, you try to help them through it, but man, they just don't understand why they can't eat the rocks and why you're telling me no, and how dare you tell me no, and I'm gonna try again, and why are you telling me no again? And it's just like repeating yourself 86,000 times. That's what having a toddler is. And by the end of the day, dude, I am tapped out. Like, oh my God. And he's only 16 months. When he's 2 or 3 and can fully like talk back, I'm scared. I'm scared. I just think the toddler stage, even though the tantrums and the defiance and all that, oh man, it's fun. It's really, really fun. And now he can walk outside. So we put his boots on and he just tromps around with us outside while we're doing gardening and stuff. And of course, you know, as a toddler does, he doesn't want to just be in the areas that's safe and that we want him to be able to play in. He wants to eat rocks and fall down the ravine. He didn't fall down the ravine, but he wants to. The only places he wants to go. Like he literally just goes to the most dangerous spots of the yard, and it's like, dude, I'm trying to keep you safe here. So I sort of leave like, not that this is a tutorial by any stretch of the imagination, but I sort of leave like the gaps so that I can see where some of the detail comes in later. So I'll sort of leave this like curl in the shell, and I'll leave like the kind of green background wall color so that I can tell where the curls were supposed to go. Because sometimes if you cover it up with paint, like I just have no idea where I'm at, and then I have to recreate it even though I already had it drawn out in pencil. But again, this is not a tutorial, so why am I telling you that? We planted our orchard yesterday, and oh my gosh, it was so exciting. We have officially 5 apple trees, 2 which were already here prior, and then we have an espaliered apple tree, which we have in our front entryway. We have like a little potted garden up there, and then we just bought 2 more Honeycrisp apples. And so we officially, in the orchard, we have 4 apple trees, 2 peach trees, 4 nectarines, 2 of which are a dwarf nectarine, and they are so beautiful. They're already flowering. Oh my God, they're so pretty. The dwarf nectarines, we have 2 of those, 2, I can't remember exactly what the variety is of the other nectarines. We have 2 peaches, 2 cherries, 2 filberts. Actually, we have 3 filberts. Well, hazelnuts, same thing. Filbert and hazelnuts, same thing. So my dad bought us a hazelnut tree because I talked to you guys about, in one of my videos, I talked to you about how our, we got a huge snow and it took down our like 40-year-old hazelnut tree. And I was so devastated because it was like literally my favorite tree on the property. And it was so beautiful and it was crushing. But my dad came over as a gift and had bought us a new hazelnut. And so we got 2 more hazelnuts from this local nursery that we have that is literally so beautiful. I cannot even describe. We got 2 more hazelnuts from them. And so we're gonna plant the other. They need each other to cross-pollinate. So beautiful. We had to fence in the garden though. Like we had to do it on an emergency. We were going to fence it in anyway, but we thought we had more time. Because if you saw on my Instagram story, which you may not have seen, this is why we had to like quickly fence in that area and work all day long yesterday on that. We had a herd of probably over 50 elk come through our property. And we are used to having elk and deer around here, but these guys were like right through our yard. And as you can see, I don't know if you guys can tell on the video, but we just got the yard hydro seeded. I don't know if you guys know what hydro seeding is, but basically it is like fertilizer, mulch, and seed. They like mix it up into a mixture and then they spray it onto your yard and it adheres and it helps the grass seed not like blow away, not get eaten by birds. And it allows it to like actually adhere to the ground and germinate better and faster because it's got all the like nutrition that it needs. And so we got the hydro seeding done and then literally the next day 50 elk came through and stomped all over. You're not supposed to walk on it, but you know, this is the nature of living in the nature. So that's totally fine with us. It was absolutely stunning. And they were like bugling and they were fearful because Zach and I were outside and they saw us and they were like, bitch, you better leave me alone. And I was like, absolutely not, I'm taking video of you right now. And oh man, they were so cool. And they've been through our yard a couple of times, but oh man, I had seen 5 earlier in the day and got this little short video of them. They were up on our back hill behind our house. And then within an hour, the other 50 were in our yard. Like I think those ones were scouting it out to be like, is this safe? And then they were like, yeah, I think it is. And boom, there they were. And it was so freaking cool, dude. Oh my gosh, seeing wildlife is like the coolest thing ever. We are so blessed to live in such a beautiful spot where we can see stuff like this often. It is truly magical and I feel so lucky that this is where we live. So I'm just adding a bit of highlight right now just to kind of get things going in that direction. I need to still work on the leaves over here to get them down. I like this little more rough bristle. This guy is really good for blending, I found. I don't know, I can just kind of get rough with it and like kind of feather it and gives it like a really painterly texture, which I think is really pretty. Everything looks really rough until you start getting your highlights and shading done, and then things just start to come together so well, and it's so fun to watch it do that. Like, you know, this chanterelle up here, like, you know, it's just kind of drab, and then you start slowly bringing in different colors and layering and adding dimension, and then it just really starts to come together. You see what I mean about being able to like really sort of beat up the brush, but the brush, because it is that sort of rough texture, it doesn't matter. It just makes it better and better the more you go. And then you can kind of take the dry brush edge with no paint on it and really blend, and it makes it just look like the perfect blend when you're all done. Like, just sort of gently brings out the highlights instead of looking like it has an actual paintbrush texture. Honestly, I will say that my years of body painting really got me to be better at blending and mixing colors together. And I'm not, you know, really doing body painting anymore. Not really. I mean, I don't do it at all anymore, but I really did enjoy it so much. And it's not that I never will go back to it, but it just, you know, your priorities change and your just things about yourself shift as you get older. And I'm really finding that making things not on myself is kind of where I'm feeling it. Like, I don't want to draw on my body anymore. I want to draw on the walls and like make pottery and build things. I'm gonna make this really neat woodshed. Oh man, if you had asked 2015 Kristi, like, will you be making woodsheds in your future? I'd be like, absolutely not. I will not be making woodsheds. Are you high? What are you talking about? Yet here I am, mapping out a woodshed I'm gonna build and being extremely excited about it. Kids will make you give a shit about woodsheds, you know? It's not his fault. It's not my fault. It just is what it is. But building things in general is just, it gives so much purpose. I don't know, it makes me feel, it's a form of like therapy in a way. I've been working with watercolors. I talked about it in my video, like my day in the life that I did. I've been working with watercolors, and that has really gotten me better at painting with acrylics, because wow, watercolors are hard. Watercolors are so hard. They're much harder, in my opinion, to blend. And so working with them has made me a better acrylic painter, because I find it so much easier to blend these paints than I do watercolors. Like, holy crap. The cool thing is if you make a mistake, so if you like screw up, you can just paint right over it. It's like makeup in that way. Like, you can just change it. It's not, nothing is set in stone. All able to be painted right over. And if you don't like it, just start over. A little bit of black and start doing a little bit of shading. I just sort of don't worry too much about each step until you get to the end where it's like the time to perfect it. It's the same with body paint. Same with makeup, honestly. It kind of looks like shit until it just stops looking like shit. Okay, so I got a bit of some shading done, which really starts to make things look like they're coming together. The last bit is like all the highlighting portions, and that really makes it look so good. Like, I've been working on this for about an hour and a half now. It comes together pretty quick. I just don't usually take the time for myself. I have a lot of guilt around taking time for myself. I don't know why either, because I asked my husband the other day, I was like, do you feel guilty when you take time for yourself? He was like, no, it's necessary. And I was like, okay, so why do I feel so guilty? And he was like, I literally don't know. And I'm like, well, this is bullshit, really. I'm the only one here feeling guilty? He's like, yes. I'm like, well, what the? Really? I thought this whole time we both felt guilty, and now that I know it's just me, it's like, okay, well, what the hell? I'm gonna try to just simply not have guilt surrounding taking time for myself. Nearly impossible. Ooh, that color's really good. I don't know if you guys can see. That one is gonna be the one. I'm gonna mix it with a little bit of black, just a little bit, and maybe a tad bit of that burnt sienna color, just to darken for the shadows of the chanterelle. But that, oh, that is way too dark. Okay, got a little too much black in my mixture. Oh, that actually is a good color. Okay, so now I'm gonna darken down this side. And I mix it in with a bit of water just to really thin it down and start to like feather it out. So I'm not talking as much in this video as I anticipated. Sometimes I kind of get in the zone. It's hard to like talk and paint at the same time. I'm thinking about taking some pottery classes, because I mentioned in a video, I don't know if you guys saw it, but my husband bought me a pottery wheel and like a throwing wheel and kiln. I know, trust me, I know. I was freaking out. I was like, dude, you've got to be kidding me. Like, what a gift, what a gift. Also, I hope I can do it justice. So I want to take a class so that I can, you know, know that I'm doing things right. We got ourselves a sun flare, baby. No, no, no. No sun flare will do. Yeah, he got that for me. And I hope I can do him justice on that. I don't know. But I know that I remember it being really hard when I did it because I took advanced 3D art in high school. And I remember we did a lot of pottery, like pinch pot style, but we also did some on the throwing wheel. And I remember it being way harder than it looks like it is. Like it looks like something that when you see somebody do it, you're like, oh my God, I can do that. And then you do, and you're like, oh, I suck at this. Okay, I'm gonna switch brushes here to a little bit more of a flat guy so that I can get into some of the detail spots. I want to know, I would love to hear in the comments if you guys have made it this far. What was your dream, like what is your job now? And what is your dream job? And are you doing your dream job? And if you are, is it everything you thought it would be? Or if you aren't, are you working towards that? Are you happy with where you're at? I would just love to know kind of how you guys are feeling in the current stage of life that you're at. Because I know that it can be kind of, I don't know about you guys, but I was talking to my sister last night. I was talking to my therapist about this last week. It really bothers me, and I've talked about this in a video before, and I've mentioned it many, many times, but it really bothers me how every day, and I don't know if you guys feel this way, but please let me know if you do. Every day feels like it's sort of being lived for the next day. Like it's almost like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's like today is like waiting for tomorrow. And I don't know if that makes sense, but like you're just trying to get through today to get to tomorrow, but then you just are trying to get through tomorrow to get through the next day. And then you look back and that was life. Like that was the life that you were living, but you were kind of like waiting for the next best thing. And you're wondering like it maybe didn't feel like you were fully living in the moment because sort of waiting for like summer to come or like that trip that you have planned and you're like waiting for that. And so it almost feels like a limbo in the meantime. Does anyone else's life kind of feel that way sometimes? Like sometimes I'm living life and I'm like making lunches and like the monotony of every day. And then I look back and I'm like, oh, that was life. And that was the life I was living. But it's almost like you're waiting for like summer or spring to finally get here. And once the trees bloom, then, you know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like that's still, that I like absolutely hate that like anticipatory feeling of life where it's like, oh, but when we do this, then. And that's a feeling that like I almost can't get rid of no matter how hard I try. It's not like I'm not enjoying each day that I'm living it, but it almost feels like each day is a transition day to get me to the next day. I don't know if anyone can understand what I'm saying. I explained it to my sister in a text last night and she said, yes, 100,000%. And then I mentioned it to Zach too. And he was like, yeah, I feel that way too. And I'm like, yeah, but do we just like, why? Why does it feel like it's so annoying? Like, I just want to be able to live in the moment without constantly feeling like you're waiting on the next moment. I don't know, dude, it's so, I guess that's like what true presence is, right? Like living truly presently. I just think it's a lot harder to do than we think. But nothing can make all of these things come to the surface and make you realize them, quite like having children. It's funny because I feel like the only thing that really has changed in me, mental health wise and all of that, is like all of it comes to the surface when you have kids. So it's like, sometimes people ask me like, do you think it's having your son that like made all of this come out? I think it's like, cause I got, you know, postpartum depression and anxiety and all of that, and you guys know that. But I feel like it's just the combo of stretching yourself so thin and because you love this other being so much that it now means more. Like for me, because somebody was asking me, my therapist actually asked me like, do you feel like you felt this way before you had him? And I was like, yes, I did. But if I was feeling some kind of way, I could fully like take time to do my own self-care. I could lay in the bath if I needed to. I could scroll social media and just like zone out if I needed to. I could go shopping, take my mind off things, paint my nails. I could go get my nails done. I could go hiking and clear my mind. And all of that was on my own time frame. And so some people ask the question like, why? Well, then why after kids? Because all of that, at least for me, and I know that every parent is different, that dynamic shifted for me. Like, no longer can I just take all of the time I need to do all the self-care things that I need to do, to not have a, you know, to not freak out, to not need therapy, to not do all those things. So like, I think a lot of times people, like I'm talking like specifically to postpartum depression and anxiety and stuff like that right now, but like a lot of times people ask like, why? And I think that there's a lot of things obviously that contribute, but I think a big one for me is just like the lack of time for self and time for doing what you need to do to like self-regulate. When you don't have the time for those things, it's really easy to dysregulate. And I mean, honestly, that's kind of what like mental health struggles is, right? It's like dysregulation. Something ain't right. And I think that that just comes to the surface so much more when you have kiddos, because you can't ignore it. Like, you simply can't ignore it. It's not something you can just put to the side anymore and go take a 2-hour bath. Like, you don't have that luxury anymore. So you have to face it head on now. And facing it head on means that, like, I don't know, you can see yourself so clearly. You can't just like ignore it anymore. And that was for me. Like, I was just kind of band-aiding it for the longest time before having him. You know, I have to address it because I got too much shit I gotta do to not address it, you know, and to not get it under control, you know. So this came out of nowhere, but mental health is such an important topic to me, because I feel like it should be an important topic to all of us, because it's so important and vital to our everyday life. You know, we all deal with it. We don't all deal with mental illness necessarily, but we all have mental health, you know, and that's something that we need to take into consideration, because maintaining it and taking good care of it is really important. And I didn't, and I just tried to get by with what I was doing, and that worked prior to having him. You know, it wasn't ideal, and I suffered more than I needed to, but it worked. And I never would have gotten help if it weren't for having a son, I'm sure, because I would have just continued on the same path that I was on. I just know I would have. But I think we need to talk about it more candidly and openly. And even still, every time I talk about it, a lot of people are, you know, really judgmental about it, because there's a lot of stigma in our society about it. I understand, because I had a lot of stigma too before I knew better, before I knew just how important it is or prevalent it is that we take care of these situations. People need to be taken seriously, and that should be like one of the #1 priorities. Like physical health, yes. Mental health, yes. Like, we need to care more about people and their well-being, because it is like a freaking epidemic. All right, this is getting there. I feel like it could use some more yellow. It's kind of gearing out of chanterelle world for me and kind of into normal mushroomville. So I'm gonna start adding in a little bit more yellow highlights, even though the picture doesn't really have that. It's just what I feel like it needs. I'm gonna switch back to my crusty chip brush. Not chip brush, I guess it's not. I need to do a little more blendies. Okay, that's not done by any stretch of the imagination. I find if I don't take time for myself like this to do things like this, my mental health starts struggling really, really badly. And so I don't know if any of you are like me in that regard, but if you are, take time. It's so easy for me to say it to you instead of do it for myself. But man, especially if you're a new parent or just not having time for yourself, like, it is so vital and important that we care for ourselves, because I don't do it. Like, I do not ever take time for myself really at all. And my husband is like, really is so supportive and nice about it, and like, Kristi, take the time. And it's just like the mom guilt is so bad, and I don't know why. It's just there. Like, I can't help it. It just is. And I hate it, because it absolutely makes me a better mom to take time for myself. It does, because I'm less snappy. I have way less anxiety when I get time for myself to feel like an autonomous human being. But it's like a liar, you know? It just tells you, at least mine tells me, that I'm like selfish or a bad mom, or I'm inconveniencing everyone to be able to take this time for myself. And that's simply just not true at all. It's just the way my stupid brain works. It's just literally hours of layering and layering and layering. And you know what's funny about this? I'm gonna put in all this work. I'm gonna do all this stuff. And one day he's gonna be like, Mom, this room's stupid. I'll be like, oh, thanks, honey. I only spent 47,000 hours on it and all of my love and dedication. Cool, I'm glad you hate it. No, he'll like it right now. He probably won't even notice it, honestly, because he is a baby. But it is funny, like, isn't that the way of the world? Like, I'm gonna spend all this time on this, and then it's crazy to think that one day he's gonna be like, can I make it a Minecraft bedroom? I don't know why he's like a man in my, can I make it a Minecraft bedroom, Mom? But yeah, you know, I love you so much, you little poop. I'm doing this for you. Just know that I love you with my whole entire heart. Damn it. My child is literally obsessed with Winnie the Pooh. I think I said that in the beginning of this. He woke up this morning at 3 o'clock. Do you know how freaking early that is? 3 o'clock, that's the middle of the night. Dude, it's bedtime. Woke up at 3, singing Winnie the Pooh, just singing it. But he doesn't actually sing it. He says, ah, poo, ah, poo, ah, poo, ah, poo. And then the song, The Wonderful Thing About Tigers is Tigers a Wonderful Thing. You know that song? He sings it like this. I think I said that in the beginning of this video. Maybe if I did, cut this part out. But yeah, 3 o'clock in the morning. Child? No. He stayed awake till 5, just talking about his favorite thing in the world, Winnie the Pooh. We don't let him watch it very much because we really try to limit screen time, because I just know that children will not like self-regulate. They will watch 1,000 hours of TV if you let them. Absolutely. It's so entertaining, and I don't blame them. I watched a ton of TV when I was a kid, but I want to like make sure that, you know, I'm trying to set some limits and boundaries around it, you know. That child would watch Winnie the Pooh morning, noon, and night if I let him. Like, it's the first thing he says when he wakes up from a nap. It is the last thing he says before he goes to bed at night. We let him watch the, it's on Disney Plus, and it is the one, it's from like 1977. It's like the original Pooh. I think it's called The Adventures of Winnie the Pooh. I'm not gonna lie. It's so darling, you guys. If you haven't seen it, or if you have kids, it is so innocent and darling. Like, what a sweet, sweet, sweet show. Like, just how cute is it that like, he just wants honey all the time, and he's just, oh my gosh, it's just such a sweet show. Look at me talking about Winnie the Pooh again. You guys, I don't get out much. I need some mom friends, so we can sit and talk about Winnie the Pooh together. I have mom friends, but they live so far away. Looking too bad. It's not my favorite, but once everything else is done, it will really come together. So I'm gonna start working on the mushroom next to it now. I tend to kind of move from one to the other and then like finish up the things as they go. So now I'm gonna take a bit of the white color and a bit of that red shade, which was this one, Rockwood Red. And I'm going to dip a bit into the red, dip a bit into the white, lighten it up. Yeah. And then we're just gonna blend. Start kind of with this lighter shade first, and then you can go straight into the white for the very center, so that it has dimension. Then I'm going to dip a little into the orange and a lot into the red, so that the color is a lot more red focused. We're going to just darken up the edges. How do you guys like this video? I would love to know. I love filming it, although I will say it is more enjoyable to film it without talking. So let me know if like you would be interested in watching a video like this without talking. I thought maybe you guys would like it more if I was chatting with you guys, so that's why I did it this way. But if it's just interesting to watch the painting with like some soft music over it, let me know, because I really like doing this while watching my show. I watch The Office, like I said, and it would just be really enjoyable for me to be able to do that. And I would probably upload more of these if that were the case, because I have so much work to do in here, like so much, that if I could enjoy doing it a little bit more, I think I would do more of these. So let me know what you guys think. If you like the talking better, or if you actually prefer it without the talking. I have a new series that I'm about to start on my YouTube channel, It's probably gonna be a once a month thing. But I'm very, very excited about it because it's about giving. And I hope you guys are into it as well. I have some really cool plans. I broke my friggin' idiot toe, which is what kind of pushed back my first video, which was probably gonna be this video if I'm honest with you. But yeah, I have some really cool ideas and I hope you guys are excited. So I'll be talking about that more soon. I'm gonna pause for a moment, take a brief break, and I will be right back. Okay, so I have an AirPod in my ear now because I need to have a show on. And I'm gonna be talking a little less for the rest of this, but let's just do it. Let's just paint. I need to get this going. God. I'm back. I feel like things are starting to kind of come together. I haven't talked in a while because I've just been in my zone. Whoa. But I feel like, hello? I'm just trying to really add my highlights and my shading now. And I don't mind if it looks painterly, you know, I don't mind if you see brush strokes because it's all about like the effect that it gives. Excited for this to be done, I'll tell you what. It'll be so fun when this is all done. The room's all put together. We can start playing up here. It'll just be a nice change of scenery. Give him his own space. I mean, he has the play area downstairs right now, but I think he'll really like having this space. I feel like that was a good stopping place for me, and I'm really happy with the way that this turned out. I know it's not finished, I just kind of have to add the greenery and then that's it for this painting. I'm really happy with it. I still have so much left to do in here, but I think tonight we're gonna move in his furniture. So we've got his crib, which we're gonna put the toddler front on, and he doesn't even sleep in there, so all we're gonna do is just like put a bunch of stuffies in there and put a like draping fabric thing that I have over the top of it, maybe add some lights and have it be like a cool fun play spot. I'm gonna bring his dresser and mirror in here, and it'll start coming together, and then I'll see kind of where I need to paint from there. I'm really happy with the way that this is turning out, and I'm sorry you guys couldn't see the complete finished product, but let me know if you guys do like these videos, and if you're interested in seeing the more like artistic painterly side to me. I love doing this. This is what I do in my spare time, and I'm really happy to film it if you guys are interested in it. I mean, I'm doing a lot of this right now. That's literally what I do when I have a minute of downtime, is I come up here and I paint. I still have to do the moon and the trees and tons more details in the room, and I'm gonna have mushrooms going up every single window so it looks like they're growing out of the sides of the window. It's gonna look really, really cool. And I'm really, really happy with how things are turning out in here. So give this video a thumbs up if you guys did like it, or if you want to see more of these, and I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. And I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you at my next video.